friends, Steve Benoon here with Israeli News Live. It's October the 27th, 2025, and boy, everything's just going by so doggone quick. Anyway, want to play real quick. We're gonna be talking about a little bit about what I did with Colin over on Project Constitution. Uh, I went in with him about my theories that I have here on this laser, possible infrared laser. I've done a lot of research on that since then. I've actually had the phone footage analyzed with a 75% probability that it actually was an infrared laser in Frank's phone that was captured there. Now, not every light, by the way, is an infrared laser. So let me clarify that. Not every light was an infrared laser. This one here is the only one that I actually captured that has a 75% probability of being an infrared laser. It has everything to do with lighting. There's three spectrums that it has to meet to be that. But we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to go into some of these things here, some of the theories that I have on there. I do want to speculate their theories. I don't like to point fingers at anyone. Um, and so we're going to kind of take a look at this here. I also want to explain something too. When we're looking at Frank Turnick's phone, we're going to come back to Candace Owens here in just a moment here. But excuse me, when we're looking at Frank's phone, and like in this video right here, uh, one of the things that you have to understand is that Frank's phone. Um, well, let me get the better video that I have of this here. Let's see. Um, Let me go back. Let's go up here a little further. We're going to be getting into the issue too about the all right, this is where Jason he did an amazing job putting this together. All right, you have to understand something. From what I was told, Frank was actually FaceTiming his family or somebody in his family and sharing them with the video. You're looking at two layers, or is what you're looking at. So at sometimes you're actually seeing what Frank is watching as he's videoing Charlie Kirk for his family. At other times, you're not seeing it. You're seeing images that are reflecting in the background. It all depends on how the light strikes the camera or the phone itself. Um, he's probably got on his phone here some type of screen protection as well. To give you an example, how many times have you taken your phone, you're talking to someone, you can see your screen there. Next thing you know, you tip it at a certain angle and you see your own reflection. In fact, today, I'm talking to my wife on the phone as I'm driving. I'm kind of catching out of the corner of my eye. She's not on a FaceTime or nothing, just talking on the phone, but my screen's on. And then I see the reflection of the trees that are above me there that are flashing on the screen of the phone. You got the same thing happening with Frank. Some of those images that you're seeing on his phone are actually from the people that are in the front, the crowd themselves. Yeah, you're not even seeing the people behind Frank. You're also in one or two images there. You're actually going to see Frank on there as well when it's catching it where you can actually see where he's actually doing the screen. Now that particular spot there, that's not this. It is. It does appear to be a police person there, but the question is what side of the phone are they on? I believe it is in the back, and it does appear to be a woman, and or when I say a police, could be security or anything. Could be the lady that walked up, and I'll quickly show you that. It could. There's a lady that's going to walk up over here, and if you watch right there on your bottom of your screen there, she comes walking right across there. I don't know if she's security or not, but she kind of disappears in behind Frank. You don't see her any longer, but she could be walking straight back because now Frank's phone has picked it up. And I believe that's what we're seeing is her actually walking back there. And I'll take real quick, let me just pull back where you can see her here. Here she is right there. It is a lady with long hair. I'll quickly just capture that. So let's take a look at it so we can just see, right? There she is, right there. She does disappear in behind Frank, and I can't really tell if she walks further back or what she does. Have no idea. Don't know if that's what it was picking up, or like I said, could it be picking up somebody from the front side of the crowd, right? It could be. We don't know. We can't tell where Frank's phone's picking up or doing. And like I said, it could be picking up from the front side or it could be reflecting from the back side of the phone. Now, I do also want you to know there are times when you're looking at the phone there to where, like I said, you're going to see both sides of the image. I want to show you. There is one clip in here where you'll see it's almost like the FaceTime result there at the same time. Um, I forget where it was at there, somewhere in there. I'll see Frank down in the bottom right corner of his own phone while he's doing the FaceTime. Look there, actually, you caught his image. There you go. There's apparently, I think that's Frank's hat right there. He reflected in his own phone. Just happened to catch him at the right moment. He reflected in his own phone. All right. It's very tricky. And I know that there was one lady that thought maybe that we're watching a drone fly in, and because I think right there is what it is. Now you're seeing things on the desk itself, right? That's because now the camera is showing the side that Frank is pointing towards. That's the only difference that is. It's not, you just never know which side of the phone you're going to get. And that's what makes it tough. If you kind of go rapidly with it there, like when the camera is just playing there and you're watching it, you're getting all kinds of images on both sides, back and forth, back and forth. And actually, right about, hang on one second, right? See when he sticks his arm out, his arm, I think actually the top of it kind of pops into this top of the screen as well. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what happens there. There are several light sources that pop up in there. Some of those light sources are LED lights of some sort, I believe. Now, and I don't know what side they're on. They could be a reflection of light off of some of the metal up here in the front. I'm not completely sure. And there again, some of my thoughts here are theoretical. Um, but I wanted to just kind of share these things with you so you can see what I'm looking at, what my thoughts are on this. Um, and then also I want to talk to you a little bit about the sound signature. We're going to look at that here in just a moment as well. But when I looked at Frank's phone, as I began to freeze frame his phone, let me go to this part here. One of the things that caught my attention as I looked at the bigger image here, now that's the policeman right there. He never moves from that spot. All right, so he's not walking around, but we do have a sign blocking the view and everything. Like I said, that one lady comes walking in out of seemingly nowhere, and suddenly, and of course the van door opens. That's what became very suspicious. Here comes that lady walking across now. It looks like she's carrying something. She goes in behind Frank, and you just can't really tell what's happening at that point there. Did she walk on? Because she's not talking to the guy. This other guy here is looking into his camera. All right. Now, granted, could his camera have been the source of this light? Yes. All right. I can't say 100% that it's this guy back here. But this guy back here in the background right here, he seems to have, and I'll share with you here. Let me see if I've got some images already up of him here. I think this one here. Yeah, here we go. It seems like he's got something in his hand. At different times, his hand is much lower, but right before the shot is fired, he raises his hand up like that. It seems like he's got his phone in his ear on this side here. He does have apparently what appears to be either a reflection of light on his phone onto his face, or it could be an LED light or something like that on his phone. What I think we're looking at is I think we're looking at him with what appears to be a laser. However, I realize it could be the camera guy. And if it is the camera guy, it could be the laser, the infrared laser on his camera that is actually trying to reach out and get a shot. I know some of the old cameras used infrared lasers. You couldn't see them with the naked eye, but they would put out a beam or a dot or something, and then they would focus in on that image. I think is infrared. It may not be. But I think that this is where it's at. I have looked at this guy on so many different occasions here as I'm watched back here. If you'll notice, even when his hand is lower there, I'll pull you in there again. And and again, like I said, it's like he's got something in his hand. As you can tell, he's not trying to hold it up there against his ear. But he does seem to be listening to something in his phone, and I think that's a phone. I could be wrong, but I believe that's a phone. And he seems to be listening in on something there. And then this other hand stays at that position there for all the way up into the time. If you go all the way back, right, on this whole video, even right there, and I think on that one, I was able to get a little bit better view of what he had in his hand there. Couldn't make out what it is, but it appears to be that he does have something clenched in his hand. His hand is not fully closed. It's held like that, okay? And then eventually, though, what's going to happen is just before the shot is fired, the van door opens, and I don't know, maybe there's something coming from the van, and maybe the light's coming from the van. I still cannot rule that out completely. I know somebody from the back of the van walks off to the side, but watch what his hand does here. This is what's kind of interesting. The van door is opening, but just before Charlie's going to get shot, it's almost everything's almost simultaneous. So it's like this guy right here does this weird arm movement thing. Now he's already raised his hand way on up at this point here. It's like his hand went on up into the air, but it doesn't get picked up by the laser. Not the, on the, or excuse me, the infrared laser or any kind of laser, whether it be from, if it were from this camera guy or if it's from the guy in this background here, it's not picked up from this front camera. No lighting whatsoever. Okay, I'll show you. Because at this point here, this light is already on by the time that he is in that position there. When he went up high enough, it's already on. I don't see any light emitting there from there or from there. And if it's an infrared laser, it's got to strike a lens in order for it to reflect on a cone. All right. So let me take and get some things here ready here. I got some different thoughts here I wanted to share with you. All right. So anyway, so with that being said then I went into the whole idea of, with Frank's phone, the one thing that I captured that was just so bizarre was this light that was shown right here inside of his phone. And you can clearly see someone in behind there. Now, it looks like it's the guy that's holding his hand here, and it looks like right here is where he's got the phone to this side here, and his other hand is like this right here. All right, that's what it appears to be. But could it be someone in that van? Certainly it could. The arm, though, if you'll notice, the arm is like cut off right here by something here, and I believe that's the sign. But the odd thing is that doesn't appear anywhere. And I've had analysis done on that particular that light and everything that I can tell from that is that that according to the having these, and I didn't do it by photo, I did it by the video itself. I did a timestamp and everything, entered it in. And from what I got back on this, there is a compact bright spot in the top center region across the small time window around 1.5 seconds in the frame there. And the tight ROI, all three channels of the R, G, and B, and these are your light spectrums there, rise together when the spot brightens. The red channel leads slightly higher in amplitude, but the green and blue also increase. That mixed channel behavior is consistent with a real luminous source, LED laser illuminator, or a a mixed channel behavior, speculator reflection of such a source in the phone glass. It is not purely red only artifact, and it doesn't look like a broad flare. It's compact and traceable frame to frame. All right. And it's actually in 3 frames is where you're going to see that at. Now, it's not easy for us to detect that, but you can put this in and actually do the research on it. But why was I looking at traceable lasers in the first place? The reason being is because when you're using a laser, one of the things that you can do with a laser, hold on 1 second here, is a laser can be used to guide another laser precision object, such as a drone. A small drone can, generally speaking, larger drones use lasers like a spotter on the ground will spot the target where you have a lot of people congested together, and then the drone can take and hone in on that frequency of that laser. And when it hones in onto that frequency, it'll lock on, and then it's able to take out the target. Now, I do want to clarify, even if this guy was holding a laser, and I can't say 100%, I've got a 75% probability that that is an infrared laser. All right. The other thing I would have to say is knowing from experience years ago, back in the 80s, when we would I don't even say, I don't even want to use the word we. I hate saying that, but nonetheless, I was very acutely aware of how assassinations would take place, how the scenes would be staged, and exactly what they would do to throw the people off. I've seen it. I know it. I know how it works. And, um, and generally speaking, even agents that are involved, a lot of times the agent has no clue what's really going on. So even if this guy was being used as a spotter, he could have very well known it's an infrared laser, but it not may have not have been the idea that someone is about to lose their life. It could be that the line for him that was told was that we're doing videography today and everything, and we've got a couple of drones up, and we want to be able to get some great footage of Charlie, and the drone can actually pick up the laser, and maybe you could just spot him for the drone, and the drone will pick it up, and that's why he's listening in on the phone. Okay, we're going to get some footage now. Are you ready? It's kind of like a theater there that they're doing. And then he puts that laser on him, helps that drone to detect Charlie, and then Charlie is then shot at that point there. I still do believe strongly that we are looking at an entrance wound from the right side. I am not 100% persuaded either on that as to where was that shot actually at. Was it in his neck? Was it in um, the side of Charlie's head? As much as I've examined everything, I can't find anything consistent for the head, but neck, yes. It does seem to be more plausible. I want to say, though, when I mentioned about these drones there, when we were talking there with Colin here, I'll just play a little clip here for you. You'll notice you got a drone right here, that doggone low. And even in the very area where they believe the shot came from, the drone was seen there right at the time of the shot. The very place that Ty Norman, when he was on with me and Colin there on Colin's program there, he shared that information. The drone was there at that very time. Well, if he had a laser guiding, and by the way, the reason they use a spotter on the ground is when there's a lot of people and they're trying to make sure that the target is not missed. Okay, that would be the reason for using that spotter. There's a different terminology for that. Let me just play this short clip here from Colin's broadcast.
Accurate that this guy was guiding with the infrared laser, and that drone, we think the drone shot, he was shot from a drone, and the drone shot right up in that area where we think where all the sound analysts come out from, where the bullet we see comes out from, where the cone shows it came from. So let me show you this video here. This is the video I'm talking about. There's the shot, and now there's one. See right there, and then right there, and then right.
Okay, it did not change frames for Colin when he said that there. Colin did find a bullet, and it does appear to be coming from the right, headed towards Charlie's neck or possibly the side of his head there. And this young man has found so much information. It's really been amazing the work he's done. Um, but with that being stated, too, another thing that I wanted to share with you that's also concerned me quite a bit is that when Charlie is shot, and I'm not going to play where anything graphic, okay? But I just want you to see one thing here. I want you to see the moment his shirt moves. All right. All right. When his shirt pulls up, if you'll notice that arch effect, let me pull this out for you so you can see this a little bit better. All right. Um, you have his whole shirt, everything is pulling. If you'll notice, it is there's nothing pushing in, it's all going up, and it's going up to that side. All right. And if you look at it from the side, there's a poof out the back, there's this pull up from the front, etc. What a lot of people don't understand about that type of shot right there is what is actually happening at that very moment. When you have a bullet that is entered into the individual, a hypersonic bullet that is traveling between 1,000 to 2,000 feet per second, um, that is extremely fast. Generally, if it's a 9 millimeter bullet, it's traveling at 1,300 feet a second, between 1,250 to 1,350 feet a second. What does that do? All right, as that bullet is going there, it compresses the tissue ahead of it once it hits the individual, and as it comes out Charlie's other side of his neck there, it is leaving behind a low pressure void surrounding air and tissue collapse inward and a rebound outward, producing the momentary puff of lift in the clothing. In other words, it's creating a vacuum that when that thing is coming in so hard and so fast, it causes Charlie's neck to expand, and as the bullet goes out, the neck comes back down and it pulls all that air out. And when it does, it's literally creating a vacuum. And he's got a lightweight shirt on, and that's why that shirt pulled up the way it did. That was something that I don't think many people have ever really addressed. It was one of the major issues I was looking at. I also looked at the issues of where people claim that this was staged, and I get what you feel about that. I've seen the videos where they make it look like as Charlie goes over, the hole in his neck stays stationary. It does not. I will not go through the gory detail of that, but I have examined it so close. I literally had to put it in a graph, and I can see every movement of that wound perfectly consistent, even to one particular frame when that bullet literally is exiting out of his neck there. The pressurized push of the tissue, everything. I can analyze these things so accurately and so close, it's not even funny. Um, Another thing that I want to address as well, and this is very controversial. I got a lot of friends that probably believe otherwise on this, but I did a lot of sound signature analysis on this to be sure. And one thing that I want you to realize, a lot of people believe there are two shots, and there are two distinct different sounds. They're so close. What you're looking at on this frame here is so expanded, it's in milliseconds, all right? It's literally in milliseconds. The actual sound of the gun, like I said, is right here. The first visual movement of Charlie's shirt is even before you hear the sound of the gun. But on this particular view, we're getting what's called the sonic boom of the round as it breaks the speed barrier. All right. And that's what happened right here. Oddly enough, though, on other views there, and I could have played these for you. There's so many things that you can do. Watch what you have here, though. On this side, in the milliseconds, we actually have the movement of the shirt, then the initial sound of the sonic boom, and then the gunshot itself. That's from Charlie's right side. That's very important because these sounds and the movement of his clothing, the visual effects, and then how the sounds hit the speakers of the phone all matter. And it matters for a specific reason, and that's what I want you to be able to notice. Look again, look at it close. First you got the shirt movement, then the sonic boom, then the gunshot. But when we go back over here to where it's in front of Charlie, it's the other way around. The sonic boom came first, then the movement of his shirt, then the actual gunshot. If you go to the opposite side of him, we get a totally different issue altogether. And I think that, yeah, that's over here. Now we have, oh, I didn't even put it on this one here. All right. Now you have the movement of his shirt is the green one, the sonic boom further apart in milliseconds than what the sonic boom is, and then the gunshot way the heck over there. What does it tell you though? And of course, I did take and I put all these into a program that could actually analyze the video footage itself, measuring these things down into milliseconds. And the one thing that I was able to determine is that the bullet itself came from Charlie's right side. It did not come from the front and it did not come from his left. And we can tell this by the distance of the gap of the movement of his clothes and the sound parts away from what is considered to be the sonic boom, which is the this one here represented in the red right here, and the other two that I just showed you as well, the sonic booms and exactly their distance apart there. The sonic boom and the gunshot are much closer together on the side of Frank's right side, which and because what is it? Sound travels at 1,125 feet a second. So you got to keep in mind this particular video was shot approximately 20 feet away from Frank's phone. On the other side, I think they were approximately 36 feet from Charlie Kirk on the other side where that phone was at there. So that difference in a millisecond there of sound wave travel, this one here was half that distance in the sound wave in a millisecond. So therefore, I was able to tell through the analysis of this that that bullet does come from Charlie's right side. Now, does it come from Charlie's right and in behind Frank, which I have wondered before, or does it actually come from consistently from the fact that it's very close, more from a drone itself? That would be more my theory because I can't find anything, any flashes of light or anything like that from coming out of behind Charlie out of the van or anything of that nature there. I realize there's could be suppressors, but the policeman never looks into the van or anything after the shot is fired. You would think if he's standing right there and a gunfire fired right out of the back of the van, he'd take a look at it, right? He doesn't. And it's not consistent with the sounds that we're hearing. And again, I hope that this answers to that shirt movement, that pulling up. It is a vacuum, and it doesn't matter which way you look at it. That view right there is a vacuum of his shirt pulling up. When you look from behind there, it's not. And by the way, too, the muscle contractions, all that can play into it. If you ever look at Charlie also on the right side there, the muscle contractions in his muscles that happen seem to be more consistent with a bullet entering into the side of his neck there. There's just so many things that could be said, and it also would explain why he would have a brainstem injury from fragmentation or from just the sheer velocity of the round hitting his neck. So, I just, I don't have all the answers. I'm just basically trying to share with some things that I think that are important. And I'd like to also play, Colin posted Candace here. I think the young lady is an amazing lady, and I think she's trying very hard to bring justice to this man, as her being a personal friend of his, which we've seen proven over and over and over. So I'll just, in closing,
Everything
let me
Turning
play
Point is
Candace.
doing is wrong, and you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong deep down. And I want to say this because there has been a lot of reading in between the lines. It's strange to me. I think I'm a very direct person and I say what I mean. And I do not want people to mistake what's happening right now or to wrongly assume my attentions here. So allow me to be very explicit, okay? I want war with all of you, okay? All of you. And there's a reason. I'm going to get to that reason in a little bit, but I want war with all of you. So write your articles, issue your statements, email the White House, reach out for comment, okay? Say whatever it is you want to say about me. I want war with all of you. Because I know this isn't right. And there is no way you are going to convince me and the rest of the world that all of this is normal. And
God bless her heart there. I'll leave a link for you to hear this 2-minute clip that Candace does right here. And she shouldn't be in a war by herself. There's a lot of people that need to stand up with this young lady and help fight. Um, my wife is going to be doing an article, I think, on Charlie as well on her Substack channel. She's now on Substack. Substack, let's see, what is it? Substack.com/Yana Satova. It's under her maiden name. And there it's actually Yana Satova Benoon, but to make it shorter, she did it that way there. I'll put a link in the description below. She's writing about the Noahide laws, and we know firsthand what happens when you cross Israel's path. And I still do believe that Israel plays a heavy role in what happened to this man. And it had to be a sophisticated, planned operation. This wasn't just some fly-by-night planned operation. This young man crossed the lines, is what he did. He had a tremendous amount of power and influence, enough so to help Donald Trump to get into the presidency to begin with by getting out young people to vote. So he had a lot of influence. And when he began to change that narrative, Israel was not going to tolerate that to be changed, especially when they were giving the donations to keep his organization going, a multi-million-dollar organization already. So that's the reason why they did what they did. We'll go into that later in a different broadcast, but I just wanted to kind of share some of these things here with you tonight. I hope it helps open your eyes and makes you think a little bit. And again, I don't say that I'm 100% correct on this. I'm just sharing that with you. Also, too, I think on Friday I'm going to be on Awake Nation over there for an interview there. And I know Yana is going to be on Caravan to Midnight with John B. Wells. That's coming up as well. So as soon as I know a date on when she'll be on with John B. Wells, I'll post that for you as well. She has written a tremendous amount over on Substack. Definitely when you go on there, you want to do that paid version. And I'll tell you why. If you're like me and you're lazy, you can hit the play button and you can play her articles and you can actually hear them. I love that. And she has a lot of them that are for free, and but she also the ones that are around the book that she's writing on Noahide laws. Those are under the paid, but it's only $7. I mean, it's like for those of you that like going to buy coffee at some of your favorite coffee shops and stuff, as my wife would say, forfeit one coffee a month, and it would help her a lot because it's a lot of work, especially when you're writing a book. I know I've written two, and I am on a third one, but I just haven't finished it yet. I get too sidetracked with too many other issues going on. God bless you. Thank you for listening. Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live.